So by the time I turned 16, I had already two suicide attempts. I had already tried to end my life. I was like, okay, I'm done. This is too much. I was in really abusive situations that I did not know how to get out of, while also being so incredibly numbed out from my body that I did not know really what was real, how to sense, how to feel, and how to get out, how to get help, how to get relief. And so for me, ending it felt like the only option that I had. And even if that was not your specific experience, I know that we all go through these situations in life where it might feel safer to simply escape than to stay. It might feel like the only option to run away or to push through and endure something really traumatic or difficult or scary or challenging rather than to be here with it and receive the care that you needed in those times. I mean, I was so violently like wanting to attack myself essentially that I even had a safe with pills and self-harm gadgets and felt like I needed to even protect myself, protect this part of me that was trying to hurt and attack me, because that's how much of an identity it became. And again, I know this might feel like a really extreme situation, but a lot of us actually go through this in different ways, whether it's through addiction or numbing out or running away or having toxic relationships or having health chronic changes in your body. And in my case, because of my attempts at ending my life, I landed myself in the ICU at 16. And I just remember, violently puking out the darkest, most guttural darkness sounds that I ever could possibly even contemplate. And I know that might sound crazy, but it's real. Like, there is a realness to the levels of intensity and stress, ancestral pain and generational pain and programming that we hold in our bodies. And so I was in the ICU at 16, and then of course, because I tried to end my life, I get transferred against my will to a adolescent psychiatric facility. And there I am, in this sterile environment, in these sterile rooms, and everything felt like, oh my God, like where even am I? Like, I could barely even digest and comprehend what I just went through, let alone now this being my surroundings and, having to listen to people be tranquilized against their will or restrained. And here I am surrounded by all of these beautiful children. Literally, I had this awareness of like, these people are so beautiful and so real and so special in their own way. What the heck is happening here, right? Like, how is this what happens when you go from not wanting to live anymore into a place like this? It just did not make sense for me. And I even remember sitting one day in a circle group, because that's what we do every single night. We have to get in these circles and talk about what we're working on, whether it's releasing suicidal thoughts or trying to love yourself or, a safety plan or anything like that. And so I remember sitting in this circle, looking around at these people. There's the nurse there, there's the group leader there, and I just remember being like, something in me knows there's a different way. Here I am, 16 years old, and just being like, something in me knows this is not the way to do this. This is not the way to heal. This is not the way to remember. This is not the way to transform. And I need to change this. And of course, at the time, I'm like, what the heck does that mean? Like, here I am just trying to be a 16-year-old and learn how to live and learn how to stay alive, and let alone, knowing what that meant to have some kind of flash intuitive knowing. But the point I'm getting at here is, no matter what state you're in, no matter how biologically depressed or anxious or sick or crippled you might feel, the soul knowing, the energetic coherence that is your soul self is always present and always speaking and always available. And that is something that we're going to really anchor and remember as we go through this series, because I know for you too, if you've had a path that's looked zigzagged or jagged or, really difficult, that your soul was always there with you. You have to really look back and say, I couldn't have gotten out of that by myself. I couldn't have survived that on my own. There absolutely was something that was here holding me. There absolutely was a guidance and a protection and a peace that was present for me. And so this is where we look back with reverence almost for, yes, the intensity perhaps of the experiences and the pain, but also in the beauty that was somehow carrying you through it. And so even though there I am 16 on all of these chemicals and medications, they're testing my brain to see why I'm hearing and seeing things. They're making me do all these sleep tests. They're trying to label and diagnose the heck out of me. And of course, that becomes more of my identity. But here I am, really in a state of what one might call sick or messed up or broken. But I had access to this part of me that knew something bigger was being played out here, even though I, at that time, had no idea what that really meant. I had access to feeling that. I had access to sensing that. And that is what we lean into. That is what we cultivate and honor and remember. And so I am sure that you've had moments of that in your life. I am sure that you've had really difficult initiations, shocking events, or moments that you could not even put into words because they are that powerful. And so even though I didn't know what to do at the time with that knowing or that experience, I followed what looked like to be the next right steps on my journey. And this is where it gets, really interesting, because here I am following this journey and on this path and trying to heal and trying to get off of this, never-ending spiral of self-hatred and self-harm. I'm trying to access something, and this is the journey I took, and this is where it gets really interesting. So that's what I'm going to share with you in the next chapter.